Warm Pacific greetings and welcome to you all, and thank you for tuning in for our Aotearoa talanoa session. Our special guest today is um, someone who has really broken the ceiling in terms of clinical psychology for Pacifica. She is the first Massey University, first Pacific clinical psychology graduate. She's going to be talking to us today on a subject that's really close to her heart. Can I introduce Dr. Rochelle Nafatali? Rochelle, malo lavale soifua moa, male lang e mama. It is wonderful, truly an honor for us to have you talking to us today about your really, really important journey.
Pawhitai tele lava, malo lava le soifua maua, ma le langi mama, lava whiunga tanga loa. Pawhitai lava mo le awanoa. Thank you so much for having me today as your guest. I'm really excited to be here and talk about this important topic to us all as well.
So, Rochelle, great to have you here. A PhD isn't easy. We both had that experience of going through that. But really important in terms of our Pacifica. Just to start off with, can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Yes, sure. So on my father's side, I'm second generation New Zealand born Samoan. My great grandparents were Loa Falealo Te Amai Sai Taliulu and Rosa Waith Le Fale. And on my mother's side, I'm third generation Kiwi of Scottish, English, and
Yeah.
German descent.
Can you tell us a little bit about your study and why psychology?
Yeah, sure. So I guess you could say my fascination with why people are the way they are and illuminating or bringing out the heart of people's stories is really what got me interested in psychology from a very young age. The study is now titled E le mai o le Malosi, so which means kind of he's not sick, he's strong. And then Pacific Parents' Journey of Raising Autistic Children in Aotearoa. And the title comes from one of our Pacific mothers in the research, and it really speaks to the strengths in our children, which are often unacknowledged and unrecognised, but inherently present. So the study aims were to explore our Pacific conceptualizations of autism, to survey our Pacific family support needs, what they were accessing and what was not there for them, and how we maintain our Pacific languages and cultures, given some of the challenges that autism can present with communication. So the methodology I used was a blend of Pacific methodologies, and those were talanoa, te oleva, and whaawhaletui. And it was very important to me because of the history of devaluation of Indigenous knowledges and the extractive research that has been done on or to Pacific peoples in the past, that within this project, our Indigenous knowledges and methods were honoured throughout from start to finish. Because it was a holistic study, there's so much to share, but I'm just going to focus on a few key findings. So I actually created a model which explains it a lot more, but this is kind
Yeah.
of the model. It's based on the Samoan Star Compass, together with our Indigenous knowledge and the experiences of our parents in raising our Pacific autistic children. And so there's one really high level theme, which is called diasporic adaptation to neurodiversity. And that really talks about how it's important when we have autistic children or just neurodiverse children in general that we adapt and change. We need to kind of throw away the things that we have thought about learning and raising children and learn new ways, adapt to new ways to bring out the best in our children. And so underneath that, there are four major themes. The first one is called Uncharted Islands. So that's all about understanding autism. The second theme is around what I've called encountering stormy seas. So there are lots of challenges along the journey, and those have been refined down to the responses of health workers, experiencing discrimination, readjusting that horizon for us, and challenges to overcome. And then we get into collective unity, which is our relational resilience. And so we look at the strengths within family and outside family, and the unexpected blessings of raising an autistic child. And then finally, I talk about the land of milk and honey, right? So our families, have migrated over thousands of miles of ocean to come here for a better life, better opportunities for our families. But often when we get here, the story is a little bit different. And similarly with the autism support system, it's not always a land of milk and honey. And so some of the important findings were that our parents' experiences of referral and diagnosis directly impacted their ability to be able to accept that diagnosis and to move forward positively.
Yeah.
Also, our fathers often needed more time to adjust, and they experienced more denial than the mothers. And that there were significant challenges within our own communities in accepting differences like autism. And so you might have heard that referred to as stigma and things like that. And as well, autism, like I said, requires that adaptation and relearning. And along with more adequate support for our families, it is actually our relational strengths and the inherent beauty and strength of our cultural heritage and language that will help us to raise our children to be their best. One finding that I'm passionate about sharing is that our children can absolutely learn their language and culture according to their capacity. And this is in fact hugely beneficial and a best practice way to help them learn. And another finding is that our families have different goals in relation to including their Pacific language and culture in their child's intervention and learning. And we should always ask and respond to the family's preferences around that, while sharing evidence-based information that it is possible. It's not going to delay the child's learning of English. It's not going to set them back. And actually sharing in their Pacific language and culture provides many rich opportunities for them to learn and to progress.
Well, where do you hope your research, the spaces that your research will inform moving forward?
So I think it's important to have an understanding of the nuance of the kind of cultural conceptualizations of autism, and that will then inform our response and our practice around supporting families. And so something that I share with all health professionals and service organisations is that it's important for all of us, myself included, to engage in neurodiversity training and cultural competence training as a minimum. As first and foremost, it's that understanding of both the neurodiverse and the Pacific experience that will help us to guide our service with Pacific families. And then it's about adapting that learning to our practice. For instance, we could think about how we ensure that Pacific communities are receiving the message that there is support and funding out there for them. Often with our families and support organisations, with communication barriers that are sometimes present in autism, we often find ourselves needing to advocate for our child. And so thinking that we know best.
Yes.
No. we don't want to be whiapoko.
Yeah,
We,
yeah.
we want to make sure that that our autistic people's preferences are front and centre, and that we are
Mm,
only supporting their self-determined goals and
yeah.
preferences and coming alongside to help them. Yeah, I think the work for us is the autism community. So that's being the supporters, the wider family, the organisations that support and help, is to bring awareness to autism, to do a little bit of myth busting where it's required,
Nice.
and adapting our practice and environments to be more inclusive.
Do we have specific neurodiversity training available if someone was interested to attend?
Oh, that's a good question. I think that's probably in the wings. Uh,
Uncharted waters?
yeah, uncharted waters. We actually need to start with a Pacific term for autism.
Yes.
It's very
Mm,
hard to catch on and understand a concept when there are no words to describe that. And so at the moment, we can use the term tangata saili malo, which has been put
mm,
together by the Tōwhāma Mau Collective, meaning that the disabled person and their family and supporters, a person in search of success and well-being.
yes.
Um, but I think there's a real opportunity for our Pacific linguists, together with those with lived experience, to come up with a term similar to takiwatanga, the concept
Mm,
of autism in Te Ao Māori, that not only names the condition but explains from a Pacific worldview what it is like to be an autistic person,
mm,
Pacific autistic person. Yes, so I have presented to a lot of Aotearoa educators as well, at
right.
various levels. And what I notice is that there is a real desire for this knowledge, for these families' stories to be shared, for Pacific autistic experiences to be shared. And they really want to know how to work effectively with our Pacific families and with our neurodiverse children. So there is a lot of goodwill and hope out there, and
Mm,
they're looking for strategies. And so it's really looking at what is that child's specific needs and what can we put around them that will give them the same learning opportunities as any other child in Aotearoa.
Rochelle, we've been all over the space around autism, particularly as it relates to Pacific. And again, I really want to acknowledge what you've done for us and for our communities in terms of your really important research and knowledge. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we finish off our talanoa?
Yes, I think I just wanted to share with everybody that our children are such amazing blessings,
Mm,
and that the strengths that they have inherently within them are just amazing, and it takes us to honour and
mm,
bring those out. And to help our children within their capacities and capabilities to be the best that they can be and to reach the goals that they want to reach.